We'll talk about integration capabilities for Business Central. My name is Andrei Baludin. I am Microsoft MVP and I am solution architect at Avara IT. It's Microsoft partner in Russia. First of my two topics, it's Intelligent Edge. It's a special tool to replicate data from your on-premise Business Central tenants to cloud tenant. So let's begin my explanation of my scenario. Just a second. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do now.
Yeah, you see Business Central. So I have Cloud Business Central SaaS. It's Business Central with United States localization, fully in cloud. And my second one, Business Central. Let's create more difficult scenario. It will be on-premise Business Central with Russian localization. And now we create an integration which replicate all our data from Russian Business Central on-premise to cloud, to United States Business Central. So it's different localizations with different schema, but finally we will get full data replication from on-premise tenant to SaaS. So first of all, we need to prepare our on-premise tenant. So we have installation, you can see. Also, it's SQL Server Management Studio. We need to prepare our SQL Server for replication. First of all, open properties of SQL Server, and we need to change server authentication if it haven't been done before. We need to change server authentication from Windows to SQL Server and Windows authentication mode. And that's all. After that, open your database, which you want to replicate. In my case, it will be a demo database PC16. And here we need to change, just a second. Yeah, we need to change compatibility level of database to 130, last one. It's mandatory. And third step, we need to create user for SQL Server user with SQL Server authentication. So I've already done it. It will be a user intelligent edge test. And I grant him some permissions, DB owner for my database. That's all setup that we need on SQL Server. So the next step, open your cloud environment and choose setup and extension and assisted setup. Yep. And here you could find Get Ready for Business tab, and inside it set up cloud migration. So click it. I already done it, but I can do it one more time. Okay. Okay. Read, accept warning and privacy. Click next. And after that, you could choose product which you want to replicate. Now it's the latest version of Cloud Business Central. It's version 16.1 cumulative update. And now, unfortunately, Microsoft allows you to only replicate two products, Dynamics GP and Dynamics 365 Business Central. It looks okay, but in fact, you can now, in that moment, you can only replicate version 16 on-premise tenants to version 16 cloud tenants, the only way. 1 week ago, it was allowed to replicate older version 14, version 15 of on-premise environment, even version 13 of on-premise Business Central. But now, after update to version 16, cloud migration app are still not updated. So now you can replicate on the latest versions. I communicated with Microsoft support, and they promise to fix cloud migration app in a couple of weeks. So after 2 weeks, you will be able to replicate any of Business Central versions to Cloud Business Central. Also, on at AppSource, you can find extra apps for replication of NAV 2018 to Cloud Business Central for different localization. You can, if you have on-premise NAV 2018, you just open AppSource, install the app for your localization, and you can replicate NAV 2018. Other older versions, 2017, 2016, unfortunately are not supported for Intelligent Edge, only 2018 and upper. So now I'm choosing Dynamics 365 Business Central and click on Next. Here is our data migration setup, the most complicated part of all setup of cloud migration. Here, you should select your SQL configuration, SQL Server on-premise or Azure SQL. This scenario, when I replicate different localizations from on-premise to cloud, Azure SQL for me will not work, because if I it's a strange issue, but if you move your database to Azure SQL with collation, with database collation different from Latin, it will not work. This replication works with Azure SQL only with Latin collation of database. So I use on-premise SQL Server, and here is the most complex part, SQL connection string. How to build SQL connection string for migration setup. I already done it. So let me choose. Okay, let me show you. So this is my connection string. First of all, server parameter. Server equal, you should take your SQL Server name and instance. EA test, BC demo. Yeah, that's my SQL Server. After that, initial catalog, database name. Just input your database name in quotes if you need it. After that, third parameter, user ID, my user with SQL Server authentication type, and password of this user. That's 4 parameters: server, initial catalog, user ID, and password. That's all connection string. So I check it, copy, and input it in connection string. Integration runtime name, third parameter. If you do it first time, this setup, you just leave it empty. And after that, click Next. So after that, you need to wait a little bit time while setup will be completed. And you will get some additional steps which you need to do. Okay. Okay. Data migration setup. So now we have 4 instructions. First instruction is that we need to download the self-hosted integration runtime. Sure. We need to download this small application, okay, on our server where we have on-premise installation. So I just copy the link, open my virtual machine. Here is I create new tab, paste, open. And after that, I need to download this small application. After installation of application, you will see it like Microsoft Integration Runtime. It's the software which will replicate your data from on-premise to cloud. So I open it. Okay, how it looks. Microsoft Integration Runtime Configuration Manager. It works. So I have a green mark. And here we have a diagnostics tab where we can check our connection to SQL Server, that everything works. So we have test connection tab. Here I choose SQL Server. Okay. Server name. Pay attention that you need to add extra slash here. It's because one slash not works. Here is intelligent add test, double slash, and server instance name, bcdemo. My database name without quotes here. Basic authentication, my user, and my user password. When I click test, I get green mark. That means that connection works. Everything okay. So when I open again, after you install the integration runtime, on first step, it will ask you for authentication key. Just copy authentication key from this tab, input it on first step of installation of integration runtime, and that will be a connection between your on-premise and SaaS Business Central. So, okay. I have my own runtime, so I can open that's my runtime name. Connection string already inputted. So, okay. Click here, click next. And we will need to wait a little bit time while the connection will be established. Okay. Something went wrong. Let me check the integration runtime name. 555670. Maybe it's case sensitive. Copy. Okay. So if everything will be okay, data migration setup will offer you to choose the company which you want to replicate from on-premise database to cloud. So you just need to select it, and after that set up some replication schedule. I think, oh, don't throw the extension, so I think everything will be okay. The next step will be choosing the company, and last step will be setup of replication schedule and running the replication. Yeah. The first time when you run the replication, it will take enough time. I think for Cronus database, for demo database, it replicates in about 15 minutes. So if you have the bigger database, it will take a bit more time. The current limit for database, as I know, it's about normal replication will work with about 30 gigabytes database. It's not so much, but Microsoft promised to increase these limits. Just a second. Okay. This tool appears from 2019 Business Central. Yeah, that worked. So here I could select my company from on-premise and click next. Activate schedule, daily, at midnight. Okay, that's it, finish. Okay, now after setup ended, I'm open tell me and just type cloud. Select cloud migration management. And here is our replication log. So we have setup completed. Somebody. Okay. And after that, you need to click run migration now, and all the replication will be complete. Here you can see migration information, migration statistics, successful tables, not migrated tables. Yeah, tables failed. You can click on it, check what's going wrong. Okay, so you see a little difference existed. And what we have as a result, I click on my settings, choose a company, and we have a Russian company in United States tenant. I click it. Okay. This one. Yeah, everything works. I have the full copy of my on-premise company inside the cloud tenant. That's it. Even with the captions. So all my customers, vendors, items from on-premise tenant migrated to cloud. Okay. So this tool is very cool, but with limits, as you can see. The limit for database about 30 gigabytes, and we have some limits with current development of this tool, because for example, now you can replicate only fresh database, 16 database to 16 on-premise to 16 cloud. And if you have old tenant, you need to wait while Microsoft Development Center will fix the application and so on. I hope that it was some kind of last big change of this tool. And in next upgrades in autumn or April 2021, we will not need to wait time because we have a real customer with such replication, and now we have time without replication because we are waiting while Microsoft upgrade cloud migration up. But before, it was quite fine. Customer have a set of on-premise installations of Business Central all over the world, and one consolidating company in the cloud. So data from all on-premise tenants are consolidating in cloud tenant with intelligent edge. So it's very cool scenario. And as you can see, it's all without code, just setup, just click, and that's all. If you want to check this setup by yourself, I already have an article how to do this. Just a second. I have a blog, which name is Andrei Baludin's blog on Dynamics community. And here is my blog posts. Just a second. Yeah, replicating different Business Central localizations with Intelligent Cloud. It was written for version 15, but now for version 16, it has small changes, but the whole process is totally the same. It contains a description how to get connection string and so far, so on. So it will be quite easy. So, okay. Yeah, Intelligent Cloud setup. Okay, and now let's talk about second integration capability. It's the integration of Business Central with Azure Service Bus. For that, I need my Azure portal. Okay. Why we need to use Azure Service Bus, and what's this? It's a resource on Azure portal. Okay. Resource groups, directions. Okay. Service Bus namespace. Okay, click it. You can, okay. So Service Bus, it's a message queue which stores some text messages. For example, you have some third-party integration and you don't want to let them access to your Business Central. It's normal situation. You just want to share with them some messages, and that's all. You can set up SFTP server for that, but if you just need to keep text messages, the good way of implementing that, it's using Azure Service Bus. To create Service Bus, click Create a Resource on Azure portal and just Service of Y Turkish. Yeah, Service Bus. Okay, click Create. It has a very light setup. That's all. After that, you will get Azure Service Bus namespace inside your resource group. So that's our Service Bus. After that, we need to create some setup of it. I need to set up shared access policy for whole Service Bus. Just click to add and create a root manage shared access key. So click on manage here to let the full access. And there are some important fields for shared access policies. It's primary key and primary connection string. If you tested integration of Business Central with storage accounts and something like that, you know that for storage account you have SaaS token here. So all Azure resources have built-in APIs. So if you want to send the file from Business Central to storage account, you just call the API with post method, and you need to send the file inside the storage account, you need to use SaaS token. Storage account have here in policies this token, but for Service Bus, but by some reasons, it it don't present it. So you need to create SaaS token by yourself. It's quite complex process. There is an article in Microsoft Docs about how to create SaaS token for Azure Service Bus. If you want, Microsoft already created a code unit for Business Central, which generate SaaS token for you. So it's a Microsoft repository on GitHub, bc-tech. Click here, samples, and Azure Service Bus, Azure Service Bus library, and shared access token generator code unit. You can see how to generate this token. I want to show you how to use less code, how to communicate with Azure Service Bus, not directly. For that, we can use Azure Function. Azure Function have built-in libraries which you can use to communicate with Azure Service Bus. So triggering the Azure Function, you can send message to Azure Function, and Azure Function will send the message to the Azure Service Bus. For that, sorry, not this. I have a repository, open folder, okay. Upper Azure. Okay. I installed the Azure Function extension for my Visual Studio Code. Here I can sign up to Azure. Okay, let's check it. My account. Okay. Yep. And inside my Azure subscription, I have apps and created function. Also, I can navigate this menu directly from Azure portal, for example. Okay, let's go back. Dashboard, app services. Okay. Functions. Yeah, that's my Azure functions, which I already deployed to Azure portal. When you create a new function from Visual Studio Code, you get this project as Hello World project. We need to make very small changes. So first of all, in the file Azure CS-proj, we need to add package reference to Microsoft Azure Web Jobs Extension Service Bus. It's a library to communicate with Service Bus. In local settings JSON, we need to add parameter Service Bus connection, and as a value, we need Azure Service Bus primary connection string. As you remember, maybe when I created Azure Service Bus, I created shared access policy. Okay. And in this policy, I have primary connection string. So just copy it and put it here. Okay. And the code of function, very simple. So we have a HTTP trigger function with anonymous authentication. Here, last one parameter, it's a service bus queue name and connection service bus connection. Okay, inside the Azure Service Bus, click on queues, and we need to create message queue. I have 3 of them. Okay. Also, you can create separate shared access policy for your queue. I used shared access policy for the whole service bus namespace. So here I don't have shared access policies. Okay, this is the name of my queue, nav to ASB. I input it here, and that's all. So when I send the message to the Azure function, it will pass this message to Azure Service Bus and tell me that everything okay. So my function already deployed on Azure portal, and I just can test it. So here is Postman, which I use usually for testing the APIs. Here is my Azure function name. You can get it from portal. So one more time, not app services. Okay, functions, my function. And here inside the Azure function, you have a field with get function URL. Click it, NTD 19 Azure Service, Azure Websites.net API ASB. Okay, I input it here, and now I can send them any messages to my Azure Service Bus with it. So, congratulations, Dynamics community, send. Yeah, it shows me okay, and my message, this message is inside the Azure Service Bus. You cannot check the messages from Azure portal. To check messages inside your Azure Service Bus, you need to use some third-party software. So I'm using Service Bus Explorer. In the end, I will give you all the links where to get this software, links to repository, to my GitHub repository, where you can check all the code and play with it. Maybe you want. So you need to open Service Bus Explorer, connect to your Azure Service Bus using your connection settings from primary connection string. So you can just select enter connection string, input it here, it will parse it, and you will connect to your Azure Service Bus. Now I click on my message queue, nav to ASB, click on messages, receive mode pick, not delete. Okay. Now I have one message, congratulations, Dynamics community. So when I send here a lot of messages, I can see here all of them. So, okay, let's click me. 2, 3, okay. And send, okay, let's check messages, pick, okay, 2, 3. So messages are collecting inside the message queue of the Azure Service Bus. And now any third party could connect to the Azure Service Bus and take messages from it. So you can keep some JSON file about shipment, send new items to some web portal or something like that. So you can collect here any data in any formats. Oh, in text format, but it could be encoded or decoded, something like that. So how we can integrate this Business Central? I created a small extension for that to demonstrate. So it is L, happy birthday name. Save. Okay. So, okay. It's small extension, page extension for the employee list. and it just add in one action, send congratulation on employee list. So I have employees in my company, and I want to send congratulations with happy birthday when clicking on them. Action contains the only call of my Azure function. You can see it's the same one, post method and body. So URL, write content from employee first name, last name. Today is happy birthday of some person. Do not forget to congratulate. That's all. And I'm just sending the message and read the response status code. Is everything okay? I deployed this extension on my Business Central. So let's open the employees list. Sorry, I'm not in proper company. So I'm inside the replicating company, so I need to select my normal company. Okay, let's open employees. And here is my extra action. Employee, send congratulation. What I added in this scenario, it's I created Power Automate connector. So, okay, yep. Microsoft Flow, my flows. Okay. Microsoft Flow has a built-in connector for Azure Service Bus. And you can connect Azure Service Bus with anything. So here is a small example when I sent the message received in queue after complete inside the service bus. I just sent to me notification on my phone that today is happy birthday of some person in my company. So, okay, successful calls. Let's refresh it. 2 minutes ago. Let's check. Select an employee, Mary Dempsey. Click on navigate, employee, send congratulation. Click OK. Let's check it in message queue. You see, 3 messages disappeared. So Microsoft Flow took it from queue. When message taken from queue, it disappeared. Now I have 1 message in queue. Today is happy birthday of Mary Dempsey. Do not forget to congratulate. When Flow trigger it, I will get the message on my phone that today is happy birthday of Mary Dempsey. So, okay, refresh. The average time is about 3 or 4 minutes about when Flow will trigger the message queue. Okay, let's wait a bit. Now message is still in queue. You can see that I have 1 message in queue after 3. No, still in queue. So in fact, in 2-3 minutes, I will get the congratulation on my phone. Okay, I think that's all that I wanted to show you for today, where you can find all the information. So full description you can find in my blog. It's latest one articles. Let's check. Just a second. Where I lost it. Okay. Let's copy. Just open the URL. Okay. Business Central NAV integration with Azure Service Bus using Azure Function. Okay. In the end, you can find repository with codes. It's happy birthday. It's extension. Just upgrade it. And lost it again. Okay. Here is the link on the Service Bus Explorer on this tool. So just click and download it. Yeah, from here it works. And also you can check my GitHub repository. Repositories. Happy birthday. Azure Service Bus function on C# for Azure portal. These two. Okay. And in the blog, you can find also the description how to set up Intelligent Edge with all steps one by one. So, okay, if you also join me on Twitter, you can find me on LinkedIn and ask any questions. And also, I'm ready for your questions if you have them.
Thanks again, Andre, for that. Great session, and Manuel, thanks you very much for that. There are a few questions. Dorasaur, should I say, asked the question, does this work with custom fields and data tables, or assume that both environments have the same database schema?
If you have these custom tables on both databases and their schema is equal, it will work. So you can replicate your own tables from on-premise tenant to cloud. It will work.
Great stuff. And Apande asks, you will have to deploy extensions, which basically with the same scheme on the cloud, which is just what you said, I guess, for the custom fields.
Custom fields. Intelligent Edge, if schema is different between tables, it replicates only the same fields. So it will, if you have some extra fields on your on-premise database and don't have them on cloud, it will just skip them. If the size of field is different, for example, for Russian localization and for United States localization, we have the same fields in tables, but with a different size. For example, code 10 and code 20. And Intelligent Edge is cut the size of value if you have them. For example, if you have 20 characters field on the on-premise database and 10 characters fields on cloud, you will get the data which will be cut to 10 symbols. So that's also the limitation. If you have the totally equal fields, they will be replicated properly.
And he also asks, what happens if you get an error? Does the whole synchronization of the data transaction roll back?
It will just skip the table on the Intelligent Edge. In the just a second, I will show you. Cloud migration management. Yeah, I'll check. Failed message. No, maybe okay. You can see failed tables and the error why it happened. You see data exchange columns. You can see that so I was incorrect in new version. It don't replicate the table if they have incompatible length. I think maybe it will be fixed, but see that I remember that customer bank account, it's field like I told you before. It have this table, one of fields inside this table has a different length between the different localization. Officially, Microsoft told me that replicating of different localization is not supported, but they have on app source for NAV 2018, I can show you that they have a separate cloud migration app for each localization. But they don't do this for normal Business Central. I don't know why, but I think in future we will get the separate cloud migration app for each localization. So extension marketplace. Just a second. Cloud. Yeah. Here is Intelligent Cloud Dynamics 365 for Business Central, for NAV 2018 Austrian localization, Belgium localization, Spanish localization, so on. You can see common extension for NAV 2018, Business Central, and here is Intelligent Cloud Bus extension. It's to migrate data from Microsoft GP.
Great.
Yeah.
So Dan was asking, is it possible to make bidirectional incremental data sync using the migration tool?
Bidirectional, not. Only one-way direction from on-premise to cloud old.
Yeah. And so if that can't, then is there a tool that you recommend that can?
Excuse me, could you repeat?
So Dan, who asked that question, was saying, if the migration tool is not possible for bidirectional incremental data, what is there a tool that you can use?
What tool you can use for bidirectional? Okay. Just let me check. Let me remember. From this release from 2020, you can use okay. I forgot. Unfortunately, I forgot how it named, but it's a common interface for Power Platform. I really forgot how it named.
Oh, are you talking about Kingsway Soft?
No.
Scribe.
No. Just let me remember. Oh, just a second. I will check in my bookmarks. I already bookmarked that, and shame on me. Sorry. CDS. Yeah, CDS, of course. So now Business Central supports CDS and Common Data Service, and you can use it to synchronize data bidirectional way, and not only between business centrals. For example, you could use this data for your Power Apps to pass your data to Microsoft CRM and so on. And there you can choose in setup for CDS how to replicate, how to move, how to transfer data. one way or bidirectional. So it's quite new instrument for me, but I make small experiments with it, and I think it's our future for replication, for data replication. So not very much information about it. Microsoft create one blog, I know, and also Renato Fajdiga created a nice article how to replicate customer data inside the CDS.
Nice.
So yeah, so I think it's our future of replicating, and also I think will be some improvements for intelligent edge, but it always will be a one-way direction. Not back and forth, I think.
So Isaac asks, does the Service Bus have an error integration tool to manage problems over connections between Azure Service Bus and destination?
Okay. So Azure Service Bus has a built-in it's Azure Service Bus function. It has internal monitor when you can check that all your messages were delivered. Just let me check. Yeah, incoming requests, successful requests, and server errors. So I have 144 incoming requests, and they all were successful. No, 0 errors.
And
for incoming messages, yeah. So all the monitors are inside the Azure portal.
And he follows up with, if there's an error, how would it be resolved?
How handle? I don't know, honestly. So, I never. Just a second. Maybe we can check it here. Okay, server errors. I think something may be. Here is we have dead letter. I think inside the Service Bus Explorer there is some monitor. You can disable the message removing from queue, and as I remember, you can put it in separate queue or something that when they have an errors.
There you go, Isaac and Dara. So yep, so Service Bus obviously is a platform that allows you to manage your queues of messages. So yeah, so in short, yeah, you can do it with Service Bus. Yep. So any other questions? Lots of thank yous from Isaac, from Dara, from Dan. Many other people, Andrea, Manuel, Maya. Many thanks from the community.
I see. Thank you, community. Thanks for it's very appreciated to you.
So do you have any announcements but before we finish, Andre? Do you have any announcements or anything you'd like to last message for the community?
1 year ago, I visited the first time Dynamics 365 Saturday. It was in Amsterdam, and now I miss about personal communication. So we have to run these events virtually. So hope that you all will be safe, and we will meet on next Dynamics 365 Saturday communities. So thank you for having me. Yeah, say hi. Okay, I pass your hi to Alexander Yermakov, I think. Okay, Mikhail. So thank you, community. Think you got some new information. You will use new tools. Business Central is a very easily integrated platform with any other instruments. So just go deeper in it and have fun. Yep.
Great stuff. So